The Taiping Revolution was a civil war between the established Qing dynasty and forces led by Hong Shi-quan, who claimed to be the younger brother of Christ. In southern China from 1850 to 1864, Hong sought to rid China of its corrupt, Western-influenced government. This government had failed to protect its people from British forced opium trade, as well as from natural disasters, which were seen to have been signs from an angry god. The government was comprised mainly of Manchus who, as the minority, were distrusted and discriminated against by others. Hong also sought the end of Confucian teachings and the spread of Christianity. Hong would establish the Taiping Holy Empire, which would stretch from southern China to its capital at Nanjing. After Hong died, his empire would be retaken by the Qing dynasty. Overall, it is estimated that 20 to 30 million people died. Hong dreamed of being one of the educated elite that would rule China, but continually failed the required entrance exams. After becoming extremely ill and being visited by a Protestant missionary, Hong proclaimed himself to be the younger brother of Jesus, according to a vision he had whilst on his deathbed. This inspired him to try to fix his country of southern China with his new-found influence.
The Hundred Days Reform. After the loss of the First Sino-Japanese War in 1894 to 1895, as well as the First and Second Opium Wars, China and its people felt weak. Their idea of Zhongguo completely turned on its side. China had accepted the loss to the Western superpowers, but losing to Japan, which was seen as small and weak compared to China, was devastating to the country's morale. To remedy this, Guangxu started a reform movement with the goal of making China strong again. Some reforms included the modernization of the exam system, the same that had plagued Hong earlier, modernization of the educational system, the establishment of a democracy and constitutional monarchy, the establishment of capitalism and industrialization. These radical changes lasted for only 104 days as they were crushed by conservative resistance led by Empress Dowager. Guangxu was the rightful emperor of the Qing dynasty from 1875 to 1908, but due to the influence of his aunt, Empress Dowager, only effectively ruled from 1889 to 1898. He was largely a puppet to Dowager, who put him under house arrest after his attempt at the Hundred Days Reform, and ruled in his stead for the remainder of his time in power.
The Boxer Rebellion was another response to the influence of Western powers and religion over China. The Boxer sentiment was one spread through secret societies in the late 1800s and early 1900s, the most notable of which was the Society of Righteous and Harmonious Fists. This and other similar groups pushed for Chinese separation from the West. In 1900, Boxers, who believed themselves to be invincible, besieged Beijing in an attempt to push foreign powers out. The rebellion lasted up until a foreign army from the Eight-Nation Alliance arrived and destroyed the imperial army and every citizen accused of being a Boxer. It was a slaughter, and 100 to 300,000 people are estimated to have been killed.
The Revolution of 1911 was a revolt against the Qing dynasty that ended the dynastic cycle. Western powers were easily able to influence the Emperor of China at this time. The leader of this revolt was a man named Sun Yat-sen, who was sent to America to study Western culture. When he returned, he realized that the Chinese way of government was not what was best for his country, so he helped form the revolutionaries. The Qing dynasty was overthrown, and in the end, the dynastic cycle was concluded.